Former Lieutenant Governor of Maryland, current GOPAC chair and friend of our show, Michael Steele, even likes me, is making headlines this week about a possible run for chairman of the Republican National Committee. There is even a draft Michael Steele website which calls him the one man who can repair the Republican Party. Are the rumors true? Joining us now, Michael Steele, Lieutenant Governor Steele. You want the gig?
Hey, how you doing? I want the gig. I'm ready to lead this party. I think we've been kind of wandering and doubting ourselves for far too long, and I think this past election was the culmination of that self-doubt, which has to end. We have a message, I think, of empowerment and ownership and opportunity that resonates with Americans. We just need to get back to that. The fundamentals of our party has not changed, so I'm ready to lead it. I
read what you wrote. You said Republicans have lost their way during the last decade. Where were you and other Republicans speaking out during the last decade when things started to go bad? It seems like everybody's now trashing the party, going after what's gone on. But where have you been all along talking about this?
Hey, Sean, I've been where I need to be in the trenches. So that's right, Alan. That's, I get you two mixed up sometimes.
No, thanks a lot.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
Hey, Sean, you appreciate that, don't you, brother? No, but seriously, you guys have been working together too long. But seriously, the reality of it is I've been in the trenches of this party, and so have so many others. And that voice has been there. It's not been sort of sitting on, in a quiet room somewhere. There have been countless Republicans at the grassroots levels talking about staying true to who we are, focused on the message of this party, and moving forward. And so when you get away from that, and you saw it in 2006, and you've seen it since then, when you move away and you start spending, when you grow the size of government, the base has spoken out against that, as have many of us.
But now that the things are going bad, and you're talking about a failure of leadership, and things have got bad for a decade, I've heard mostly for the last decade were Republicans speaking out and defending themselves.
Alan, it's bad for a decade. What decade have you been living in? It's not been bad for a decade. You have 7-8 months of financial difficulty. You're talking about a decade? What about all those jobs that were created during that past decade?
You said during the last decade.
But wait a minute. I'm saying that when you fall away from the troubles that, from the core of what the people of this country stand for, then it's time to step up. And we're trying to step up now and get back on course and move this party forward. But it's not been a decade of difficulties in that regard.
Hey, Michael, and by the way, there have been those of us that have been saying the Republican Party has lost their way. The polls show that, nearly 60% feel they've abandoned their values, they've lost their way, and they've been incompetent in terms of governing. I've been talking about this for 5 years, both on radio and TV. Now, here's the question, and David Brooks raises this question about the battle over the future of conservatism, and he talks about people like myself and Rush and some of the old guard institutions, Americans for Tax Reform, Family Research, and he talks about traditionalists versus reformers. Now, the reformers, to me, sound a lot like where we've been going, and that is Democratic Party light. Where do you stand?
Right. I stand in the traditions of this party. I stand for the values that we have fought for, the value of the family, the value of life, born and unborn, the value of community, the value of opportunity, the value of growth. I don't want to be, if I wanted to be a Democrat, I grew up in a Democratic city, Washington, D.C. I'm from a Democratic state, Maryland. I'd be a Democrat. But I believe in the principles of this party. I want to see us return to the principles of this party. We are the conservative voice in America. That's not a pejorative. That's not a negative. That is something that speaks to tradition. It speaks to progress. It speaks to the future. It speaks to a lot of things that Americans are interested and concerned about, and we just need to do that.
March 1st, 1975, no pale pastels, but broad colors, or bold colors, bold differences. Ronald Reagan. And this was right after a tough election in 74 and a revitalized second party. Look, by the way, I'm supporting your candidacy. I think you have the vision that Reagan had. But if we become the party of security, the party of economic independence and energy independence and fiscal responsibility and the party of the American dream and free market solutions, we'll get people back. Conservatism.
We'll get them back, Sean.
Quick, go ahead.
I was going to say, Sean, we'll get them back. We'll get them back in a big way because that's where America is. America didn't wake up on Tuesday morning and say, oh, gee, I think I'll be a liberal today. What America said to the Republican Party was, get your act together. And it's now for the leadership of this party to step up, and I plan to be that leader, to step up and move us forward.
Michael, whatever I can do to help you, I think you're the person for the job. I think you and I have had discussions on air and off air, and I don't hear the passion from other Republicans that you have, so I wish you well in this endeavor. Thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you, my friend. And Alan?
Yes, sir.
I'm coming at you, baby. I'm coming at you.
I'm ready. I'm tan, rested, and ready.
All right. And coming up, thanks, Michael.